I'm figuring I will focus on this first. So yeah, my thinking is to use Mark II miners in every case. They do use more power, but I figure we might as well build with Mark IIs in mind. And out of curiosity, actually, how much power? So it's 5 versus 15. And how much power would you use at 50%? I guess you're not gonna tell me until you actually start running. Oh, you're out of power, so you'll never start running. But I suspect that if I build Mark IIs and underclock them just temporarily, like hopefully that's not even necessary, but if it is, I suspect that it will drop the power usage to roughly that of a Mark I miner anyhow. So yeah, I don't really see a point to building Mark Is anymore. At least that's my thinking. Guess we'll see if that holds up. I can always swap them out if power is a significant issue. But my thinking is to design assuming that power is not an issue, and to try to maximize everything, and then I can always underclock after the fact if I need to run it in a reduced capacity, just to get the factory off the ground. Okay, so let's start by putting down some foundations aligned to the world grid. Let's take a look at quartz crystal. So 37.5 per minute. That seems pretty awkward. 37.5, 75, 150. Okay, maybe that's a nice target to shoot for. To get us to a decent round number. Because what's our total? Our total would be 120. So 420. So maybe 5, 2 times 2 times 2. To have 300 of it going to quartz crystal production. And what does the silica recipe look like? 22.5. Oh boy, they just love awkward ratios here. So 37.5 and 22.5, or 20, I think was our total. I might as well just write all of this out so that I can keep all the information available. So it's impure, which is 60 plus, and then let's try 37.5 times 2 times 2, 90 remaining, and yeah, then we're 60 over. So I think we're going to have to do some overclock, underclock if we want this to work cleanly. So, for example, a 50% overclock on the normal would get us an extra 60 to make this workable. So that would be 8 assemblers, or constructors, rather, for silica, and 8 constructors for quartz crystal. And then a 50% overclock would get us 60 more on the input. Or actually, it makes the most sense to overclock the pure node by, 25%? So that it's the least power overhead to get us that extra 60 per minute. So, okay. So because I'm going to overclock this to get an extra 60 out of it, that will be equal to 300. So I could have essentially like that one miner up there on the pure node feeding all quartz crystal production, and then the other two feeding all silica production. So in that case, maybe I don't even want, ironically, after all that work, maybe I don't even need you coming down to like the very bottom floor. Yeah, so I think I will pause here and do some more laying out of this, try to figure out exactly how I want it to work, but it should be that that miner overclocked going to the upper floor for quartz crystal, these two feeding silica, should all work out with 8 constructors apiece. And then I will just need to find a spot to put in a truck depot to, or a couple of them rather, to transport those resources out. Maybe I'll ramp over in that direction, just like up onto this ridge here. Or I could go down to the ground and build something that uses this path here. Either way, I think I'll probably build up into this area. Alright, here we are again, looking at some of the local wildlife. So, as you can see, here we are next to our quartz nodes that we were setting up lines for last time. There's the pure node up there. And then both the impure and the normal node merge together here. And now go up into this assembly. So down here, I've set up a little assembly line for silica. And I think I'm going to be producing just about the exact same setup for quartz crystal up here. I was experimenting with a different approach, but I think I'll take that out. Hopefully not along with a bunch of other stuff. Alright. So yeah, as you can see, this is the upper level of this place, and I tried to merge it in with this archway that was already sitting here, and it's taking the output from that single overclocked pure node over there, and I think as a result we need a Mark IV belt for it. But I want to set up a manifold going into each of these machines, and I think I'm going to do this approach, which I was using down below, where I stack a couple of splitters, and then, let's see, can I do Mark 1s to each machine? Yeah. Then I take a Mark 1 lift, and I do something like that. And yeah, because it's snapping on to that splitter, I believe it should be taking output from it without issue. And let's just line up the next one. Okay, so now we can take our Mark IV belt of raw quartz and hook it up directly into that. Let's see. And now, as for taking outputs from these, I guess let's start on this side. I think the way that I was doing this was taking not a smart splitter, a merger, and popping it up. Basically exactly the same as what I was doing for that manifold over there. I'm just popping them up like that, and then putting a lift into them. To be fair, I could just be building these directly across the floor, but Alright, so 22.5 per. I really like either of those, so I think I'll do that, and then that. Okay, looking good. So now let's talk about this setup here. So we've got a merger that's taking both of these lines in, and then we have a smart splitter in front of that, and we've got a right output is overflow, center output is any. So what this effectively is doing is it's prioritizing the center output, and only if it can't output anymore to the center will it output to the right. And then this is sort of the inverse. I've got a prioritized left output, and the center output is my overflow. So what I've effectively done by setting it up like this is I've created like a priority chain, essentially, where this output here is the highest priority. If anything can flow down this lift, it will, and only when it can't will it go out this belt, because it's going to back up to here and then overflow onto this belt. And then only once this belt has also backed up, once both these belts have backed up, really, will it overflow down this lift. So now, as for what all these lifts are going to, so the first one is going to our dimensional depot uploader. So it just comes straight down here, then over to a storage container, and then up into the depot. So that's the highest priority output, and that's because I want my my player inventory effectively prioritized above everything else. I always want to have this stuff available, the quartz crystal, if there is any available. I want it to be going to my player inventory first. And then the second priority line goes out this way on this little bridge that I've set up. And you can get some sense of the aesthetics I'm going for on this place, though it's not quite done yet. I'm hoping to put some big windows there once I actually have silica to do that with. And yeah, we bridge right over this geothermal generator that we set up earlier. So this goes out to a simple truck station that I've set up out here. So yeah, all the way along the top, and then to this second little freight station. So that's going to be the output from this factory, the primary output. So long as my player inventory is full, it'll be going and filling up trucks that show up. And then, as for the least priority output, that heads over here, across the roof, down into a merger, combining with our silica, once we have that actually producing, and into the awesome sink. So the point of this is so that if the factory essentially has nothing to do, if we're completely backed up on quartz crystal here in the storage container, and we're completely backed up in terms of trucks, no trucks have shown up to haul quartz crystal away, then the full output of that production line will instead go directly into the awesome sink. So the point of that is that we're not wasting our production capacity, even if there's no demand for quartz crystal. At least it'll be going in here to produce tickets. If nothing else, at least we're using it for that. It will also keep our power curve or power demand nice and steady, which is kind of an ancillary benefit in my opinion, but most of it is just making sure that we're not wasting possible resources just sitting here with idle machines doing nothing. Ironically, as idle as they are now, because I still haven't hooked this place up to power properly. But yeah, so down here, this is silica production. And it's basically exactly the same design. In this case, it comes in from these two nodes, merged together, and then goes through a manifold, just like up top. And then we have the exact same setup here, just sort of mirrored versus the top, where all the outputs combine here, and then it goes through a series of smart splitters. So this right overflow is the lowest priority, which goes to the awesome sink, and then this left output is the next priority, which goes up and out across that bridge to our truck stations. And then the center output is the highest priority, which goes in here to, again, fill our player inventory. And, oh, but one thing it's worth mentioning, so I'm merging both of these and outputting them to a single awesome sink. And mostly by happenstance, I think that will work out perfectly. So the output of silica is 37.5 per minute, and the output of quartz crystal is 22.5 per minute. And if we say 37.5 times 8 constructors, messing up my keyboard here, plus 22.5 times 8 constructors, we get 480 total output of all resources from this entire factory, which exactly matches a Mark IV belt, just by luck, more or less. So yeah, luckily, we can just merge these all onto a single Mark IV conveyor, and know that we shouldn't have any backups as a result of that. So in theory, no matter what is happening with the rest of our infrastructure, if there's absolutely no demand for quartz at all, it shouldn't matter in terms of this factory. You know, it'll still be producing at maximum efficiency. It's just that resource will be going into the awesome sink instead of being used elsewhere. That is at least my goal for all of my factories from here on out. I won't necessarily stick to it, but I'm going to try to effectively keep them operating at 100% all of the time. It will get a little funky going between factories, as in, it's always a possibility that, I scale beyond the capacity of this factory to produce quartz crystal or silica or something like that. And then I'll run into bottlenecks. But I would like for each of these, little modular factories, well, semi-modular factories, to at least be internally consistent and efficient. So yeah, that is what we're looking at currently. It's not done aesthetically, but it should be in a position to run now. I just need to actually route power. So that's going to take a bit, because I don't want to just bridge off of this power network. Because, this should be a static load on the power grid. So, as I was saying earlier, my thought process, at least for now, is to keep those all static loads and static producers on one power grid, and then all variable loads and variable producers, like geothermal, on a separate power grid. So that does mean I need to run a totally separate set of power lines all the way out here. So I will get to that. Ooh, if I can grab the power line. Oh boy. And let's hook you back up to that. Yep, you can reach. And you should show our coal network. Yeah, good. And now, let's just pull power down from you. then let's put down, if we have the materials for it. We don't, for a priority power switch. So I'll just put in a normal one for now and replace it later. Yeah, my idea in putting priority power switches on these is to make it so that these factories will automatically shut off if we ever are in a position where we're drawing too much power from the network for it to support. The factories will just shut off one at a time until, or in groups, it depends on how you set it up, until you have shed enough load for the network not to crash. So that's very, very useful for preventing hard to recover from blackout situations. And let's just put a wall outlet here. And that is going to act as the start of the whole network for this factory. I guess I'll have to put in some kind of roof up here, won't I? In order to actually run power. I might change up this roof later. I might not. I don't know. I do like making somewhat aesthetically pleasing factories. I like having them not look just like boxes, for example. But I will say that building out a truly amazing looking factory, which you absolutely can do. There are some really incredible builds that I've seen from other people, but building out a truly amazing looking factory can be incredibly time consuming, especially if it's something that you're new to, which frankly I am. So I tend to just try to set them up as not quite a box, and then, really go into detail on them, only so long as I'm still having fun doing so. And if I ever get bored of or frustrated trying to set up, a truly gorgeous factory, then I'll just stop at that point and not bother with it. Do I have a way to close this top off cleanly? That would be under architecture, right? There's no, center corner. It's not really a thing, is it? So I just put a flat roof on it. Yeah, alright. That's good. Alright, well, let's start routing power for this. It is really nice just being able to build some of these components that, at one time or another would have, demanded resources that I didn't really have access to, and now can just plop them down and not really think about it at all. And, our cable is being replenished from dimensional storage without us needing to worry about it, too. So, yeah, real nice. Okay, let's put in some walls here. And then another one of these double-sided outlets, so that we can then run power out to the miners as well. Okay, looking good. And now we need to think about getting power down to the lower floor. And eventually I'll have to think about lighting as well. So you might have seen down here, I did install some lights. So I'm going to have to think about getting the wiring done for those too. For now, let's just focus on the machines, and I'll worry about lighting later. Oh yeah, getting through floors always seems just a little bit awkward. I wonder if I put in like a wall back here. Oh, that's a little awkward. Let's just put it across like that, and then down. Maybe I can route power over this way. Oh, let's set up a wall outlet first because I don't want Mark 2s for this, just Mark 1s. Let's put that there. Look that up to. Guess you. Maybe I will instead delete that line. Hook you up to that somewhat awkwardly. And then you over to here. And let's just take it down to a position where we can jump to the ceiling here. Okay. See, I need to hit all of these, so let's just put one like there, and then switch that to a Mark II, same as up top, and then jump across to there. Alright, and then just get all of these, and I think that's more or less it. Oh, that's not quite true. We also have to get the awesome sink, and then the truck stations, which we'll want off of our variable power network, as I'm calling it. I suppose I could be doing it like that as well. And then, do we want to go just straight to there? Sure, why not? Okay. So that's power to all the constructors, top and bottom. Power to the awesome sink. All right, well, let's go ahead and turn it on and see how things go. What is our total demand over here? 139 megawatts. Oh. Are we having issues back at the coal plant? I feel like this has been flat the whole time, but maybe there is some issue somewhere. I'll have to look at that. Because, yeah, it should be 2400 consistently. Ah, well. At least for now, I think we're good to turn this on. Let's see it run. Well, oh, I think, yeah, I've got a little bit of quartz crystal in my inventory. I'll just dump that on. And our miners are just starting to output. Yeah, that one is overclocked. So yeah, these are gonna run dry for a second. They were just loaded with some initial resources. But we should be getting input. And you should be getting backed up. Yeah, pretty obviously. And, you know, as with our previous manifold designs, these machines on the end will stop-start for quite a bit until materials back up here, and then here, and then here, so on and so forth. But so long as we've done our math properly, everything should eventually balance out. Let's go check on the other floor. See some green lights down here. See you starting to back up. Just fine, 120 per minute. You should be 60. Then, just to check yet again, 8, 180, which is 120 plus 60, so that it should be good. Alright, and we should be getting the first of our silica in two-dimensional storage as well. Sure enough, there it goes. Alright, and once that's backed up, and then once the associated storage container is backed up as well, we should start seeing resources flowing out to our truck stations. Right. Well, maybe in the meantime, I'll start thinking about lighting in here. It's going to be a little more awkward on this roof, since it is pitched. But, let's see. Oh, I think those are under organization, yeah. Yeah, that's not great. Can I, like, build you in between like that and have you look okay? Maybe. Maybe something like that, if it'll let me. Yeah, this is going to be a little awkward. Let's maybe take one of these, put it over somewhere like that. Isn't there like a separate lighting switch? Yeah, light control panel. I don't know why that's the case, but oh, and it's specifically. Oh, I see. So you can adjust color. Oh, okay, very cool. Does that mean that I need to hook up lights off of this side? Probably. So, oh boy. Okay. Yeah. Another thing that maybe I'll fix someday. Oh, I see. These can only support 2 connections, so I'll just cut that line. And then hook up there. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, the cables going all through the air doesn't look great. But, hey, you know, it's progress. And then I can adjust the intensity and select colors. Oh, I see, like that. Oh, that's very cool. Go for a nice purple hue for our quartz factory. I don't know, that might make me nauseous eventually, but maybe we'll try it for now. Night mode. Oh, so it'll only turn them on at night. Okay, cool. I don't think I had ever experimented with this light control panel before. Out of curiosity, let's try reversing you. Yeah, that's what I thought. You two there, you two there. Oh, it's in night mode, so I wouldn't have... Okay, well, I'll test that at some point. And let's take you to there, and then down as well. Maybe just somewhere like that. No. Slightly lower. Now let's just put you in line with the other one. Ah, yes, and I can't route that. Could route all the way up there. Okay, interesting. So those came on in their default configuration. So if I cycle you, will it cause them to... Yeah, okay, I think that got them to pick up the state from the control panel. I don't know why that is highlighted over there. I feel like that's just a minor visual bug. If I hold delete, it doesn't try to actually delete it, so I think it is just a visual issue, not that the line is actually selected for delete. Okay. Now if I turn this off, those come on, and these come on. Oh, and I've got to cross connect these. Like so. Oh. Okay, I can connect you there. Okay, sort of a serpentine pattern is what I've got going on here. Okay, yeah, and I'm assuming then that if I cycle the control panel, it'll cause all the attached lights to pick up that state. And let's turn on night mode, why not? Ironically, turning these to night mode does mean that they're technically a variable power draw, but I won't be that much of a stickler about it. They're not a significant variable power draw, so I'm already going to compromise my my principles for that. Okay, very cool. Hopefully by now. Okay, I was hoping to actually see output to our truck station work, but it looks like we haven't quite filled up here. Yeah, steadily increasing, but yeah, and there's the lights coming on. Wow, in all their purple glory. Okay. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to change that color eventually to something a little less glaring, but yeah, that's fun. That's fun, at least for now. Cool. Okay, I wonder if I can... Maybe I'll just, Can I safely fill this with garbage just to prove out the system? I think I can. so long as I don't use any quartz crystal from dimensional storage, it shouldn't pull any up into that. I just have to make absolutely sure to empty these random materials out eventually. So the danger of leaving these in here would be that one of them would get pulled by this lift up into the queue to go into the depot here, and then I could end up in a situation where I use a whole bunch of quartz crystal, but there's like one reinforced iron plate or, one stack of copper plates that's sitting in there waiting to upload instead, and no more quartz crystal can flow into the system until I use that specific, material that's blocking the path. So, yeah, certainly not ideal. But I have created a little artificial backup here, so we get to actually see if, yes, stuff is flowing out to the truck stations for the first time. Very cool. I'm glad that's working as I had hoped. And yeah, we shouldn't be seeing anything going into the awesome sink. That should only happen when both inputs are filled up. Okay, so I think that at least proves it out. So I can actually get that stuff out of there, make sure there's nothing in the conveyor, it didn't pick anything up. Nothing weird in the depot either. So we should be good. Gosh, I think I'm already gonna have to adjust the pink color, or purple color on those lights. It's just too much. Okay, so I can edit it, and let's pull it towards a white color. Just give it like the slightest purple hue instead of that garish color there. And let's, gosh, can I crank it all the way down to what is like 30% intensity look like? Okay. Yeah, that's not nearly as aggressive. Oh, I also need to hook up these lights, or at least I was planning to. I'm not sure if I'll need them at all, really. Can't run off of you. I could run an additional connector back here. And that's not quite right. So yeah, that's our lights. So let's run you to like there, and then to there, and then, well, we're still clipping a little bit, but then to there. Okay. Gives a little more light pouring out the front here. And heck, now that we've actually got ports available, it's under walls, I keep forgetting, I can think about putting some windows up front here, as I've been planning to. Not there. Okay. Honestly, I kind of prefer having it open, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe that's just a glare because of the lights, honestly. Is it better without you? No. No. Okay, well, I'll think about it. All right. Well, that is quartz hopefully all sorted. And I figure the next thing to move on to would be my essentials factory over here. So that's going to be a significant jump up in terms of complexity. I suppose before I get on to thinking about that, though, I might as well show you how I'm planning for trucks to take this route. So, let's actually put in some ramps over here. Let's just zoop across like that, and then that, and then that, and turn these all into concrete. And I'll come back here and sort of pretty this up later on, at least hopefully. Yeah. So yeah, I have sort of scouted out a loop for the trucks to take here. So there'll be... Oh, shoot. Sneaky, sneaky bastard. Okay. That was not ideal. But the trucks will be either coming in or going out. I haven't decided direction yet. But they'll be traveling up here, around this way. Hopefully, yep, a handful more stingers lurking along the route. That's not ideal. I really thought that there was some degree of enemy spawn prevention near things that you built, but clearly don't seem to be triggering it, at least with what I currently have set up. Okay, well, anyhow, they'll be driving along here, across this ramp, across this other bridge that I've got here, and then out in that direction. And then conversely coming in, or again going out, depending. They'll be coming down here, over this way, and then that should lead into that path where we've got the truck station set up. So hopefully, and yeah, someday I'll have to clear out these poison spewers too. But hopefully that gives a nice loop for them to take where none of them will obstruct each other and cause a deadlock situation like we've seen previously. All right. Well, yeah, I think that's this whole area pretty well accounted for. So now it's time to start thinking about other factories. I'll probably at least lay out the initial extraction, or, you know, the initial floor layout for that off camera, you know, sort of like I did these nodes here, just so that I have something to work with, and then I'll start recording again once I am actually thinking about building machines to produce things for this factory. So, yeah, hopefully I will be seeing you all again very soon. That's going to be the end of today's episode. Thank you all for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next one.